Safe Space ASMR podcast where we talk about all things spirituality, personal development, and so much more. Sometimes we whisper, sometimes we soft speak, but every time we grow, expand, and relax. So sit back, grab a drink, and relax with me. I have my drink, which is the same drink as last week, because I'm filming this right after I filmed my last episode. I'm still drinking it. It's a Bang Energy, sour apple flavor. I never drink Bang anymore because it kind of like can hurt my stomach a little bit. But I split it with my mom and I drink it very slowly. So let's take a sip and let's dive into episode 11, where we're going to be talking about so-called falling off the spiritual path. Oh, so good. One more sip. That is so good. Okay. This episode might be shorter than usual. But before we get into it, I do want to say this video, or this episode, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, this episode is sponsored by Safe Space merch. So, I have a website, safespaceasmr.com, where I sell hoodies, crew necks, phone cases, pillows, blankets, same blanket, same pillow, only one of each. And if you want to bring your safe space wherever you are by getting a crew neck or a sweater to make you feel safe in this crazy world, safespaceasmr.com, and make yourself feel more cozy with a safe space pillow. Read at nighttime, make it a ritual. Listen to an episode, make it a ritual with these products. Now, I created the products to give you a reminder that wherever you go, you'll always be okay. You'll always be safe to be vulnerable, safe to be yourself, safe to be authentic, safe in this world of anxiety, loudness, craziness, hecticness, and just a reminder of that safety within, that authenticity within. And yeah, safespaceasmr.com. Now let's get into it. Like I said, this episode might be shorter than usual because, really, there's not much to say. This is a reminder to you if you need to hear it. I did think it was important to make a dedicated video to it, even though I don't have personally too much advice or anything. I got this comment of someone that said that these episodes really helped them. They felt like they have fallen off the spiritual path, and God knows I felt that so many times, as if I have fallen off of, my spirituality. And, falling off the spiritual path does not exist. It's not a thing. You're never off of it. And thank you for coming to this episode. I'm kidding, but that's really all it comes down to, is that you are never off of the spiritual path. The spiritual path does not have a falling off. It doesn't have a different direction. It doesn't have an end to it. You are always on it, no matter which direction you take, no matter what habits you're doing, no matter what life you're living, no matter what focuses you're focusing on. It never ends. You are always on it. Now, I get it. This impending feeling of falling behind. God knows I have fallen off of so many things, fallen off of so many habits, spiritual habits of, reading or doing my spiritual habits of meditating, learning courses, reading spiritual books, etc., etc. I can be consistent for a while, and then all of a sudden I find myself, being too consumed and unbalanced in my life in all areas. It kind of takes a bit. It could be a belief, but for sure it could. But it can be hard to be balanced mentally, spiritually, physically, balancing your job, balancing your social life, your relationship life, balancing all these areas. And I tend to, it feels like, neglect the spiritual, as in, meditating or doing spiritual things learning about spiritual concepts, and I feel like I always get unbalanced where I tend to focus so much on like YouTube, content creation, my job, what I do, life in general, work. And I always have to like remind myself, because I'm friends with this group of spiritual people, and they all are, in my eyes, great at keeping up with spiritual habits like journaling or reading, having mentorship like coaches, and just great at nurturing that. They also teach about it and they coach as well. And my one friend has a Reiki business, and you know, they both, there's like podcasters and you know, coaches, and they're just all very good at keeping up with that. I create ASMR, which to me is very spiritual, but I tend to forget about journaling. I can go days without it, weeks without it, meditating. I try my best, but you know, the point is, life ebbs and flows, and they remind me of this, of that. It doesn't really matter, you know, what stage of life I'm in. Maybe I'm not in this stage of life of learning or doing courses, but when the time comes that I feel inspired to do so, I will. But life ebbs and flows, and for each person it is different. We're all in different energies, as well as our life path. Currently, you may feel as if you've fallen off of the spiritual path, or you're too consumed by one thing, or you're unbalanced in that area, or not making time for it, etc., etc. And you know, I wrote this down. In those habits or non-habits, you know, of not doing certain things, or you're doing a habit but it's not spiritual, it might make us feel good, right? Those habits, those spiritual things, they might make us feel aligned, yes, and it may be what you mean by feeling as if you've fallen off, you know, you feel out of touch with your spiritual self. But our habits don't make us spiritual. And it's a realization that I've had to come to, is that, yeah, the habits, they make me feel great, right? You can do all the spiritual things in the world and be considered, in quotes, spiritual. And it might make you aligned, it might make you happy, it might make you feel good. But it doesn't mean that not doing all of that means you're not spiritual. It doesn't mean you're any less wise. It doesn't mean you're any less of anything. It doesn't mean you're, you know, all the wisdom is gone. It doesn't mean that all of the spiritual alignment and the manifestations won't come. It does not mean that. You know, first of all, we're constantly manifesting, whether you're doing spiritual activities or not. We're always manifesting, no matter what. You cannot turn it off. And I know spirituality goes hand in hand with manifestation, but spirituality to its core is not just manifestation. But in life, we feel as if our habits, you know, align certain experiences and opportunities that are self-serving for the soul. So when we feel as if we don't have these habits and these things that we're doing, we feel as if, you know, we won't get certain things, or won't feel certain things, or won't be in alignment with the opportunities that we truly desire. And sometimes we feel when we fall off the spiritual path, we don't deserve good things. We don't deserve wisdom, or don't deserve that light. We feel as if it is completely gone. You know, we've fallen off this path of certain things that make us feel spiritual. We need to get back on it to be something, to be spiritual, to be worthy, to be, you know, a master manifestor, or whatever it is that you tie spirituality with. But it's not true. You know, all of this conditioning in the world makes us feel as if we have to be doing certain things to be on a good path, or a right path, or the correct path. And it's not even just the conditioning. It comes with comparing yourself to people that are on the path, or in alignment, or have the perfect schedules, have the perfect routines for a spiritual alignment. You know, we condition our mind to think we have to be something in order to, or do something in order to be something. But spirituality is not what we do. It's our essence of who we are. It's our soul. I'm sorry if you hear the wind in the background. It's getting pretty windy. But I have to remind myself of this all the time, that it's not what I do that makes me wise or worthy, it's who I am. It's not about the conditioning and the changing of your life and, going down this path, meditating every day, going into monk mode, learning constantly. No, wisdom is within our soul. Wisdom, everlasting true wisdom, is within the soul. It is not something that you can go find. It's not something that you have to do. It's something that you are. So when you feel you've fallen off the spiritual path, just know that you are the path. Wherever you are is the path. And like I said, life, it ebbs and flows. Now, when we fall off these habits, when we fall off, in quote, fall off, we are actually meant to be, in quote, off, because that is where we learn as well. Like, I, for the longest time, believed that I can only learn if I'm meditating. I can only learn if I'm journaling. I can only learn if I'm healing, if I'm getting Reiki done, if I'm having a coach mentor me. I can only learn if I'm doing X, Y, Z. All of this conditioning, no. You can learn just by being, taking experiences and learning the insightful lessons that they have. If you are not doing all these things, you're not off the path. No, your ebb and flow of life right now is actually teaching you something big. It's teaching you something great. I have learned my biggest lessons when I was not meditating. I have learned my biggest insights and breakthroughs. I've had my biggest breakthroughs when I was not doing those habits. Wisdom is not conditioned. Spirituality is not conditioned. Wisdom is our essence. Wisdom and spiritualness, the terms are so limiting to the ego, but being spiritual is not something that you go get and do in a certain path. It's who you are. It is who you are at your core. Now, I want to give this analogy that light, the universe, God, the light that shines in within your life is always present. Now, we tend to put curtains up, right? Right now it's dark in my room, but it's light outside because I have curtains that block out the light. It doesn't mean just because it's dark in my room that the light's not shining right in. If I were to open the curtains, it will be so light in here. There's always light shining. God, universe, source, higher self, your angels, etc., etc. They are always shining in. They are always present. Yes, we might put up blocks to hide out and cast out the light, and our habits, as in meditating or journaling or doing XYZ, might make those curtains open and we feel the light more. But it's not as hard as we think. We tend to make this belief that it's, I have to get on the path again. I've completely fallen off. I'm completely behind. I have to do all this to tap back into alignment, to, get back into feeling the light again. And, those habits are great. The path, in quote, the path of feeling aligned may come with all these habits, but it's as simple as just letting the light back in. If I'm gonna say you are never ever off of the path. It's always here. In every ebb and flow, you are always having the experience that you're having for a reason. It's just the ebbs and flows that bring you into different seasons of your life, and that is okay. It could be the season of experience. It could be the season of, having lows, of life lessons. Life is your biggest teacher, not that book. I mean, of course the book, and of course extra knowledge, extra wisdom, it's great. The habits, the practices, they're great, but life is your biggest lesson, and the path you are on is always the right path in every moment. But anyway, like I was saying, we think it's so hard to get back on the path. Let's say you do feel like you've fallen off the path. We think we have to do all these things in order to get back on it, or learn all these things, or etc. And if you want to get back to your habits, great. I'm not saying that, of course it's a good thing, but it's actually very simple. Just letting the light back in. I mean, it's always been present. It's always been there. No matter what you're doing, those curtains are ready to be opened, and the light will shine right back in. We just have to open ourselves up to it. Yes, we can close off and we can feel as if, that's fallen off of the path. But in the close off period of time, that's what makes you real. That's what makes you be able to connect to the people that are also off of the path, end quote. Those moments are the moments that make us human, and it's a great thing. We learn our most in those moments, but it's also very simple to just let the light back in, okay? It's not as hard as you think. We make the path of spirituality, or just the path in general, we make it so complicated. Now, I will be going over episodes on this of playfulness in life. I mean, truly, life is just about experience. Yes, there are tools that you can work with, habits that you can work with, things that you can do that make you feel aligned, things that you can do that bring insight and wisdom. But your soul, the soul that is always with you, the soul that is always present, no matter what experience you're having, that is infinite intelligence, that is infinite wisdom. You, no matter what you're doing, you already have all of the answers. You already have all the answers. It might not feel as if you do, it might not feel like it, but your soul that is connected to God, higher self, universe, source, whatever, it is always there and ready and constantly working with you. Now, another thing I want to say is our habits of spirituality, those habits, in those habits, or when you're not doing the habits, you may feel as if you're blocking out that light, closing off to spirituality, closing off because you're a little unbalanced, with it, with integrating your spiritual essence into your life. We learn the biggest lessons within that, and we have the biggest breakthroughs. It is meant to happen for your path, and the lessons that you will learn within that, because the biggest breakthroughs come unexpectedly, not when you're planning. I just had a breakthrough the other night, or the other day, crying, journaling, a huge breakthrough about my life's karma, my soulmate and my twin flame, and just this big breakthrough that I had. I haven't been meditating consistently. I have not been doing, the spiritual things that you're on the spiritual, but no, I haven't been doing that. I've been unbalanced. I haven't been eating good. I haven't been, doing all of those things that make us feel as if we're on the right path. But I had a huge breakthrough because my soul is still here. No matter where you are in life, you can learn from the dark experiences, and I'm not saying it has to be dark being off the spiritual path, but no matter what, you're always learning. Life is your playground, life is your lesson, experience is your lesson. You can go years without opening a book or reading a course, God knows. I of course want to get into reading books because that's always been something I struggled with, like a habit. I truly have not read too many books, but it's something I definitely want to get into. But me not reading books doesn't mean I don't have wisdom, because my wisdom is from my intuition, my spirit, which is so much more wise than a book can ever be. We can have these tools and use these tools, but I want to validate your experience and feeling like as if you've fallen off, because you're never off. You are always on. And I made a video on my main channel about the bad side effects of spirituality. I'll be happy to make it again, but if you want to go check that out, it's on my Haley Gutierrez YouTube channel, where I talk about this side effect of feeling like we have to be serious, always healing, serious, always doing X, Y, Z in order to be spiritual. We need to respond consciously all the time. We need to read that book or meditate, or we have these roles that we put up when we get into spirituality. Farther down into my spiritual path, I'm not saying I'm an expert, God knows I'm not, but I've come to this realization. I used to have a spiritual ego where I felt as if, I'm meditating. Are you meditating? I'm journaling. I'm doing this. the spiritual ego stage where you think it could just be me. But I mean, it's a thing, having a spiritual ego, doing all these things in order to be this spiritual essence, right? I've had that stage in my life. I've been on this spiritual journey, I guess all my life, but because I was really connected with God and etc. But mostly my spiritual awakening happened in 2017, so for about 6 years now. The realization that I've come down to is that life is about experience. Spirituality is experience. It's not all of those habits. It's not mentorship and XYZ and all these roles. I've really gotten down to this realization that life is about experiencing these thoughts and emotions, these life experiences. It's not a certain path. We're conditioned to believe that it is, of course, but that's once again the ego coming up. When you feel you've fallen off, that is the greatest time to realize that you are always on. What have you learned during these, this fall off, or what have you learned during all of your experiences and the emotions of what you've been feeling? That is your greatest teacher. That is your greatest insight. Being in the darkness is where the light tends to shine, The closer you are to light, that's when the shadow is bigger. If you're on the street and there's a light and you get closer, the shadow gets bigger, the darkness, right? But so when we fall off, we're actually the closest to light. Don't let your ego trick you. You are never off. Don't let your ego think you need to be doing XYZ. Don't let the conditioning trick you in thinking you need to do XYZ. Your essence is spirituality, your soul, who you are, right? We're in a human bodysuit, but that's not who we are, right? Our spirit is who we are. We're in this human bodysuit to experience this world. So never feel bad, never feel guilt, never feel shame for falling off of certain things. It's all within the experience and meant to be happening. Stay tuned for, I know this episode was for sure shorter, but I just needed to make it a whole episode to remind you of this truth, okay? And I'm sending you love and light on your journey, no matter what stage you're in, no matter what ebb and flow you're in. Embrace it. Never feel guilt. Never feel shame. There's no point. I'm going to be making an episode either next week or, we'll see, on comparing yourself, because God knows a lot of stuff comes down to comparing yourself to other people's paths or comparing yourself in general. I actually recently cut out scrolling on social media, as well as any consumption, too much consumption, because I've been comparing myself and where I should be, what I should be doing too much, and I got sick of it. And last week I created an episode on creating massive change in your life, which you can go check out. But when you get sick of certain pains, and I got sick of comparing myself, so I cut out the consumption of social media just for a little bit, and then I had my breakthrough. So I will be creating an episode on comparing yourself. Stay tuned for that, because that could be the thing that makes you feel as if you've fallen off this path, when in reality it's just all illusion. Now, I hope to see you again soon. I'm sorry this episode was so short. Let me take one last sip of my drink with you. Cheers. I hope to see you again soon. Make sure to follow this podcast wherever you're listening, or subscribe